Hey guys, Patrick, Conservative Rap, and in this video we're going to talk about the four learning styles, specifically how to create or craft information in a more magnetic format, a format that speaks to all personality types, if you will. So, question, you ever try to teach something to someone, feel like it's important, and get the weird feeling that it went right through one ear and out the other for the other person? You ever have someone explain something to you, like a vague concept, by randomly pulling together facts and ideas that felt like they led nowhere? Both sides of the coin, both having a poor teacher or having a lazy student, quote unquote, can be very annoying. What if I told you that when this happens, though, it's not because the other person is just dumb or they're just lazy or they lack attention, even though that might be the case, or the reverse, right? It's not because they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, but simply that they have a completely different personality type for knowledge and learning than you do. What if I told you that there are actually four different learning styles? And if you consciously knew how to create and structure your information, you'd always be listened to, people would seek you out to learn from, and you'd never be ignored or thought of as some type of wacko, preachy type person again. The thing is, while we all know about personality types generally, right? Introvert, extrovert, type A, type B, for some odd reason, we rarely think about how that plays out in specific areas of life. So, for instance, you may recall Dr. Gary Chapman, I think his name was. He talks about the personality types of love in his book, The Five Love Languages, which we'll probably do a post on at some future point. There's another gentleman, Professor Wyatt Woodsmall. He's the author of numerous books on like psychology, neuro-linguistic programming, and he talks about the personality types for knowledge and learning with his concept, the four learning styles, which is what this video is based on. So to be clear, these are not simply the various like mediums of exchange that you can put information in, right? Verbal, visual, audio. What we're talking about are fundamentally different ways that our psyches come pre-wired to understand new ideas. It's very significant. By instinct, most of us only talk our own language. Whenever we have something to teach, whenever I have something to explain, or whenever we're perceiving new information, we resort to our own natural style of consumption and assume the other person should just get it or just communicate it. And if they don't, that's their problem, not ours. But as you know, that's a very passive, failure-prone approach to have. So let's get straight into it and talk about how you can start implementing the four learning styles in your own material and your own life and communication today. Number one is the why learning style. Why learners are always asking the question, why? Right? Why am I learning this? Why are you even telling me this? Quite literally, a why person can't learn unless it's made clear from the outset why knowledge is being presented to begin with. One powerful way to talk to a why learner is with benefits and consequences. So a few sentences ago when I said, people will seek you out to learn from, you'll never be ignored again, etc. That's what I mean, right? Tell the person directly, if you learn this, insert positive benefit will happen, right? If you do not learn this, insert negative consequence will happen. This is why most of the blog titles you see, most of the video titles you see, most of the like copy that you see entitling is benefits focused. Most people, human beings as a whole, are why learners. So just make sure from jump you're telling people exactly what to expect and what they're going to get out of it. Number two is the what learning style. What learners are conceptual people. They always want to know, what's this really about? What's the deeper meaning here? Because for the what learning style, if there's no deeper concept or no theoretical framework or even symbolism in the case of a movie, there's really no point. So one powerful way to talk to a what learner is with history. I've done some writings on time management, and typically as an example, when I'm explaining time management, I'll say, hey, time management, quote unquote, is played out because traditional time management stems out of a world that no longer exists. The term time management dates back to the Industrial Revolution, where the first time output began becoming measured for the average person in a way that was no longer confined to nature. So whereas before, during agricultural time, work hours were determined by season and sunlight hours, right? Holidays were determined by inclement weathers, and even time itself was determined primarily by looking up at the sun. This was the first time when people started using clocks, working in factories, leaving their rural hometowns for major cities, daylight savings time and time zones came into effect with like trains, etc. So that's an example, right? Anytime you talk about the history of something, where an idea comes from and why, you're almost guaranteed to satisfy a what learner's conceptual hunger. So go back And think about when I was saying, the thing is, learning styles applied to personality types, Wyatt Woodsmall, Dr. Gary Chapman, etc. That's an example of implementing the what concept into a training or into a teaching. Number three is the how learning style. How learners are always asking, all right, so how do I actually do this? And they learn best through step-by-step formulas. These are the people who want detailed plans similar to like cooking instructions or game facts walkthroughs. Obviously, the way to talk to a how learner is by hand-holding, even if it sounds silly or unnecessary, saying, first do this, then do that, lastly do this, or create some type of procedure that tells them exactly what to do. For example of this, take a listen towards the end of this video. And lastly, the what if learning style. Lastly, what if learners are the entrepreneurs of the world. They're the people who want to go out and do something as soon as they learn it. As soon as they get a valuable idea, to the point of like leaving a seminar midway because they quote unquote got what they needed. They want to really test ideas out and see if they work in the real world. So I found the best way to speak to a what if learner is to just give them permission, right? Just be succinct, to the point, and simply say, all right, now go out and try this and let me know how it works for you. They'll appreciate the brevity and they'll feel like you're more in touch with the real world. So how do you tie the four learning styles together, right? That might be what you're thinking, right? Now, okay, there are these learning styles, but how do I know what style a particular person is before I start communicating with them? The answer is you don't. The best thing to do is to incorporate all four styles to make sure your information speaks to everyone, and go in the same order: why, what, how, and then what if, because most people are whys, then whats, so on and so forth. So the next time you have something to teach, sit down and devise why. Play out all the benefits and consequences, knowing, not knowing it. Then explain what. Teach the history or the theoretical framework. And after you explain that, then summarize with a procedure for the hows, and then give the what ifs permission to get out there and do it. Before you get started though, take a second to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What type of learning style are you? How do you like information to be shared and prepared for you so that you learn best? Again, this is Patrick with ConservativeRap, and look forward to connecting soon.